Hey guys, what's up? Artie Quitter podcast. Artie Lying Uncensored podcast. That's right, the only podcast with two names. And you pick whichever one you want. Artie Quitter, some publicists will say, is a better name because it says the name of the website you have to go to order the show and see all things about me, my stand-up career, and some old photographs of myself that you might find very, very sentimental. Yeah. Me at several different weights. Yeah. I'm like the Elizabeth Taylor of modern comedy. I have several different weights. Several different wardrobes for those weights. Right now I'm in between somewhere. Neither weight indicates health in general, by the way. Thin can be for terrible reasons. It can be for great reasons. Fat can be for terrible reasons and more terrible reasons. Fat never all good. Today we were having some more work done in the fucking apartment. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it. Let's just say I haven't listed the legal team of Spiegel, Brown, and Spiegel to look into some stuff about sheetrock and penthouses. But no, plus I've been feeling a little run down, man. It's been very busy, but believe me, it's a good kind of busy. 2015 was actually a good year for the Langster, as they called me on the street.
It was a very good year.
Yeah, that's Dan Filato, of course. Dan will be honing in.
My tribute to Francis Albert.
Yeah, that's great. You sound exactly like him. That just shows some people are born with the ability to sing. You don't realize how good people are at singing until you hear someone who can't sing. That's when you know. It's like, like rapping. I never thought rapping was a skill. Like, fuck, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. Then you heard someone who can't rap, and then you hear Snoop Dogg, and you go, wow, I guess it's a skill. Yeah, I guess you're born with that. But clearly Sinatra was born with the ability to sing, and Dan Filato was not. A kid, we should give that kid on Twitter some props. I think it's Artie Fan Clips. Is that the name of the Artie Quitter Clips? It might be something like that. He does these videos where he includes my face and stuff, and it's really funny. All the selfies I took throughout the year, he put in like a picture album to the song "It Was a Very Good Year" by Sinatra, and it's really funny, very funny. But today it's just me and Dan because we casually told the people who were coming in we couldn't do the show because of the work we got done. The work got done now later in the afternoon, so I said, fuck it, we got to give the people what they want, which is apparently me talking. I don't know.
And me singing.
And Dad singing. This is the last week of podcast before we go on a Christmas break. This Thursday will be the last show before whatever that Monday is, January 3rd. But we'll probably do a couple of surprise shows in those couple of weeks. So stay tuned. I got a couple of gigs in that time. December the 26th, I'm at the Fox Theater at Foxwoods in Connecticut. December 27th, I'm at the Wilbur Theater in Boston. Those both great places I played before. And New Year's Eve, I'm at the Comedy Cellar. I go on stage at midnight. I'm officially the first comedian of 2016. And someone on Twitter said, when is the first funny comedian? An excellent question I can't really answer. That's that. Check it out. Check my website out, artiequitter.com. So a couple of things I want to bullshit about here. First of all, if you have HBO and you haven't seen this U2 Live in Paris thing, the group U2 did a live show in Paris. They were supposed to do it, I believe, the Saturday after the terrorist attacks. And, of course, they canceled it. And they rescheduled, and they did it last Saturday. Or at one point last week. I think it was Saturday or Sunday. Holy shit, man. I mean, look, I'm a fan of U2's music. I mean, who isn't? This HBO special proves how many hits they have. I mean, they got, a ton of hits. You knew that, but you get reminded of it here. Like, wow. But this special is nothing short of fucking extraordinary and inspirational. The timing of it is insane. U2, obviously Bono, very political band, very, very left-wing, obviously, very liberal. And that can make you sick sometimes when these guys sort of put their views on you. But if there's ever a more appropriate time for that to happen, it's now. And the timing of it happening a few days after these terrorist attacks. You see all of Paris in this arena. It seems like all of Paris. It's an arena that probably holds around 30,000 people when the floor is covered. And they call it the reinvention of the rock and roll arena show. And U2 is, an amazing live band. I've seen them live a bunch of times. The first time in 1987 when I was like 19. I remember being in high school, around 1984, late 84, early 85, my senior year, and this kid, Dougie Martin, who grew up the street from me, came in to the video aids class that we had, visual aids class. In 1985, AIDS meant nothing but visual aids. When he said visual aids, you never thought of any disease. You just thought of visual stuff that helped you. But now it sounds a little oof. All right, so let's just go with visual stuff. Visual stuff class. And, he had a video cassette of a music video. And it was a young Bono on a horse carrying a flag and singing Sunday Bloody Sunday. And I remember looking at Bono on the horse and the long hair and, Irish band talking about the IRA and the wars going on over there, blah, blah, blah. When you're 17, it's just mind-boggling. You just want to get a cheeseburger and say, what's the song about? But I remember saying, God, that song is amazing, but clearly it was written by an asshole. He just looked like an enormous asshole on the horse and the flag and a guy who wants to impose his views on you. But the song was fucking great. The guitar riff, the drums, and his voice was amazing. And then you realize as time goes on, he's not an asshole. I mean, we all look like assholes early on. There's a lot of evidence that I'm an asshole out there. If you Google Artie Lang /asshole, there's a myriad probably of visual aids that will help you. But the video just seemed a little pretentious to me. And it was, but, look, you sacrifice that. Springsteen is my hero musically, and, of course, politically, sometimes you don't always see eye to eye, but, sometimes during the live show, you're like, okay, he's giving us a rap about whatever, blah, 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 but that's a small sacrifice to make for that fucking music. And these guys are geniuses. You watch this U2 show, and you hit after hit after hit. New stuff, old stuff that, a few years ago, a bunch of years ago, recently. Wow. And the Edge, the guitarist, when Bono introduces the band, he introduces him as the genius of the band. He just casually goes on riff after riff, these riffs he created. The song I Will Follow, like the I remember being in high school on the Seaside Boardwalk, like shaking to that song and dancing to that riff. It's just, it seems so easy, but who the fuck, it comes out of his head? How the fuck do you have an empty head and all of a sudden you get that riff? How does that happen? Musical genius is something I've never understood. Neither is comedic genius, but, I understand a guy who's great at comedy more, obviously, than someone with music. You just, you put the words in, and the words fit in perfect with the drum and the guitar. How the fuck does that happen? You mix it together, and you got a song, and then they can recreate it live. It's just something we take for granted. But, again, the technical stuff in this show, and I don't know what the overhead is for this show. A ticket must cost $500. That's the other thing you notice. That I don't know if the savings is trickled down to the poor man. I'm sure Bono was, putting a new house in some exotic. I think Bono's getting a new home in Fiji for this. He's not that liberal. But you got this amazing stage that looks like a thermometer with a long neck and two circles at the end of it. And they, walk back and forth the entire time, Bono does. And the crowd is all around them and draped over the runway part of the thermometer, the middle, are these things that look like big nets. And you can project video onto those screens. And throughout the show, they project video on there that is just extraordinary. It makes it this multi-medium just extravaganza. It's unbelievable. And, U2, let's face it, they have a certain, they're a band that fits this type of thing. They have a certain panache, if you will. that they don't have a grit that Springsteen has. This is a little too refined, this show, for the grit of a Bruce Springsteen, which is fine with me. I mean, I'd rather have the grit, but when you give yourself over to the fact that, okay, these guys aren't that grit that you might like, and they're a little more sophisticated technically and in every way, you go, all right, I'm yours, man. If this doesn't make you want to go see this fucking show, I don't know if they're on tour. I don't know if this starts a tour, ends a tour, but whether you like U2's music or not, and I don't know many people who don't. I mean, some of you people might not realize what their songs are, some of their big hits. I don't know anybody who really doesn't like their music totally. No matter who you are, you should check this out. It's very impressive, and there's not many bands that could do this. Not many bands at all that could do this. That you need the hits. It's one thing to have this visual stuff going on, but if you don't back it up with those great fucking songs that everybody knows the words to, it's not going to work, the show. And so you got to have that U2 panache, if I might say, the sophistication of U2, and you got to have all the songs. U2 might be the only fucking band in the world who could do something like this. Very difficult. And I realized how much of a fan I've been of U2 since I was 17. Ever since Dougie Martin showed me that video. Sunday Bloody Sunday, I Will Follow, In the Name of Love, Pride, In the Name of Love, a song about the killing of Martin Luther King. Which, when they get to that towards the end of the show, is unbelievable. You get the chills. I mean, you get the chills. And so check it out. U2 Live in Paris, if you have HBO. If you don't, get HBO and watch it. That's how good it is. Dan, we should find, are they on tour? Are they coming to the States with this shit? Because I'm going. I got to go check this out.
I think so. I think they are coming.
Is this the start of the tour?
Yeah,
because
I think it was the
start. Yeah.
I'm trying to look that up now.
They got to be in their mid-50s, U2. I mean, I'm 48. When I was 17 and I saw him, he had to be 25-ish. So, maybe a little younger, but you're talking 53 to 56, all of them. And they're rocking and rolling, brother. And he lets the fans, there's a bunch of fans, I guess, who follow him on the road and crash the stage. First of all, who are these people who can do that? And when I see them, I'm happy for them. They look happy, but I get fucking annoyed. Who's funding this little fucking venture into life? You got these young people. 20, 25 years old, between 20 and 25, maybe younger, following U2 around? What the fuck? Did they have jobs? I guess not. They're probably rich kids. I guess so, right? I don't know. Who the fuck? They dress better than me. Motherfuckers. How do you say that to your dad? I mean, you go, hey, listen, Dad, I'm going to follow U2 around. Can I get an ATM card with a bank account? I mean, that's what you need. How the fuck else do you do? I need a credit card that you're going to pay for. I need an ATM account, access to cash anytime. Can you do that, Dad? And I guess a bunch of dads say, yeah. I can imagine, first of all, there wasn't any money for me to do that, but something on my, I mean, I can imagine asking my father for money for anything. Like, no, go get it. Yeah. I didn't think I get money. Climb fucking roofs every day. Oh, God.
You never had friends that did that Dead tour? I have friends that didn't have
Follow
a lot of
the
money.
Dead?
Yeah.
No, you're a little older than me. You got about 5-6 years on me. That wasn't really my generation. I had buddies who were like older brothers I know were into the Dead. I don't know if you mean people that just dropped out and followed the Dead for like a year.
For a couple of years, sure.
Yeah. I saw the Allman Brothers and the group Fish at the New Orleans Jazz Fest, 1996. Me and the great Orlando Jones, when we were on Mad TV together, we went to New Orleans for the Jazz Fest at the end of the second season of the show. And, a bunch of those, the new Deadheads were Fish heads, I saw these kids were following Fish around. And they had white kids with dreadlocks, and they had bare feet dancing in the mud. And I looked at their feet and I said, how do these kids feel knowing that they'll never have clean feet again? There's not a power scrubber. There's not a car wash. There's not an acid that would get the dirt off of there. I looked at them and I said, well, that's all. And their hair was matted down because to get dreadlocks, to get the texture that you need for dreadlocks, for white people, you have to not wash your hair. It has to get matted down and, quite frankly, filthy. And they smelled, I couldn't believe how bad they smelled. I'm trying to watch the Allman Brothers. You know, that fish was good. I like a couple of their tunes, but yeah, so the Dead must have been even worse because water pressure has gotten better over the years in public showers. You know that, right? That's the whole key, water pressure. There's some apartments in New York. When I was a young comic, I would crash with some buddies in New York City when I was up for 5 days on cocaine doing spots. Very nostalgic. And I would try to take a shower at their place. And I would go, now, and I would take the shower and I feel there was no water pressure. I go, now I know why this kid stinks. Me and my buddy Jimmy were like, why does he stink? I mean, he clearly showers, right? Then you go to his house and there's no water pressure. You can't really scrub up. You're afraid to, put soap under your arms because it might take an hour to get the soap from underneath your arms and eventually you start to stink. These kids, some of these kids were funny comedians, but they smelled like, Provolone that had been left out for 2 weeks.
And if you travel a lot, there should be a standard for water pressure.
Yeah, no, I know. You're right. Absolutely. And so the water pressure with these fish kids is better than those deadhead kids. And these fish kids, I'm telling you, I'm trying to think of an analogy. Like, whatever cleans... sometimes you see the side of a bridge gets really dirty and they have to clean it before they can paint it and they'll get these huge power washers.
Right.
Like these industrial power washers you have to put on a boat. One of those could not have got these fish heads' feet clean. These kids had... The dirt was so embedded and it had taken up residence inside their toenails. It was not going anywhere. And they were oblivious to it. And you're like, what the fuck? I mean, I love the music. I want to dance, but put some shoes on. Is shoes and socks too much like society? Are you that much of a rebel? Are you that much of a rebel? You have to smell like a fucking coyote that died?
And there's nothing worse than like a hot chick with dirty feet.
Oh, forget it.
You got that debate in your head. Do I want to go after her or do I don't?
She's no longer a hot chick. She's no longer a hot chick. She then becomes one of the enemy. I mean, the hygiene. And some of these kids, I'm telling you, they were funny comics, but they didn't make it. You know why? I don't know exactly why. You lose touch with these kids, but at some point an agent said, look, we can't have someone smelling like this. We can't if you want to write from home and send it to us, fine. But we can't represent someone. Do you think Lorne Michaels is going to stand next to you? No. Lorne Michaels has a glass of Chardonnay in his hand that costs more than your apartment every night by 6. He's very... Rich people are very about cleanliness. Since the old days, but London. The rich people in London got away from the filthy people. Those whores that Jack the Ripper killed. Jack the Ripper did a society a favor. He goes, you want some... Hey, matey, you want a little whore? Might you be up for some of the devil's business, huh? No, you stink. Might you wanna see where I stink the worst, huh? Come on, matey. Hey, governor, how about a little roll in the hay for your governor? Huh? What you holding your nose for, governor? Oh, that's still... you think I stink? You should smell me sister. Me sister and I haven't showered since 1785. Then Jack the Ripper just killed them. Who would be against that? You could argue Jack the Ripper did London a service, getting rid of all the stinky hookers. There's evidence Jack the Ripper did not kill some of the whores, and those are the whores that didn't stink. I think he had a stink meter. What's the matter? Hey, governor, what you doing with that knife? You got some machete? Ah!
What about in this country, H.H. Holmes? He killed a lot of prostitutes.
Yeah, well, that's the Chicago guy.
Yeah. Devil in the White City.
Yeah. Dan has to bring up a Chicago.
Well, who's the other mass murderer that killed prostitutes?
I don't know, but did I ask you to bring another one up? When I'm doing my spontaneous fucking Jack the Ripper bit, do I have a sign up that says bring up another guy that killed a bunch of whores? Hey, Governor, what about H.H. Holmes? He killed me sister who moved to Chicago. Yeah, me feet stink a little bit. You want me foot in your mouth? That's an extra shinkle. What the fuck I'm talking about? Yeah, come on now. Come on, what you writing there, Dickens? This guy's... Look at Mr. Dickens writing something again. Yeah, you want to smell me pussy? Could you imagine the whores that Jack the Ripper killed? Could you imagine what their pussies looked like?
Oh, God.
Were there guys who could eat those chicks out?
Oh.
That's a horny motherfucker. That is one heterosexual dude. Come on, Governor, I ain't got time for this. I just took a dump in the alley. Okay, hey, I just took a dump in the alley, Governor. Want to eat out my arsehole? How about eating my arse? That's an extra shinkle. I don't know what a shinkle is. How about, it's an extra, yeah, that's another 25 pounds. There's a lot of fat around me, pussy, too. It's a fatty, smelly twat. Come on. Yeah. That's what these kids who followed fish look like. Those whores. They look like the whores that Jack the Ripper killed. You ever see any documentary about it? You know, they have those ancient photographs they took. You know, it took 4 hours to take one picture. They had to light a torch. Yeah. So, you know, again, these U2 people, they are like the first class of that, like the sophisticated version of those fish heads and deadheads in the 70s. You had kids you grew up with who dropped out to follow the dead?
Yeah, no, after guys in radio and guys
okay.
and a couple lawyers I know, they took a year off.
Yeah.
They got out of law school, they started to work, and then they didn't like it. So
But they was the rich kids.
Yeah, they took a year off,
money.
I would say 85, 86.
Because Dan's a secret rich kid.
Yeah, sure I am.
So all your friends, I don't have any friends friends who went to law school and followed the dead. I have zero of those friends.
Well, they didn't have a lot of money.
Okay. Well, they went to law school.
So they hopped in a car and they drove around and followed the dead.
Oh. That's what you want to tell your dad. Dad, I just graduated law school. What are you doing? I'm going to follow the Grateful Dead. What? I'm following the dead, matey. I'm just going to talk like the
in the early 90s, I got a lot of lawyers that wanted to be interns at WGN.
Yeah.
I go, you got to be kidding me. I just didn't like the law thing.
Yeah, well, they want to drop out.
Fun.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They think it's fun. What we do is fun. This is what we do. What I'm doing right now is what I do. This is what I do for a living. What I'm doing right now. I do this all the time. If we were having dinner and there wasn't a microphone in front of me, I'd be saying the same shit. The only way I can live in society is if I try to make somebody laugh. It's my only defense mechanism. If there wasn't a microphone in front of me, I was with a hot chick or people that were better looking than me, which is a large part of the population. I'd probably try, go, hey, God, look at this. Sweating doing my English whore impression from 1888. Yeah, well, listen, that is, and then a year turns into 2 years. And then, did you ever see the dead?
Once.
I saw them once. I saw them the day I did stand-up comedy for the first time. I've told this story before. I heard it plugged on K-Rock on the Howard Stern show. Dylan and the Dead were at Giant Stadium. And I went and I saw Dylan and the Dead. I took mushrooms, and I went to the old Improv that night, got in the lottery, got a number, and did stand-up at 1 a.m. Coming down from mushrooms. Listen, the jams and stuff, my God, you had to be way fucked up. After the mushrooms, the jams did get much more entertaining. Dylan was going through that phase. Dylan was going through that phase. This is 1987. July the 12th, 1987. Dylan was thoroughly in that phase where he was so mad at everything and the people that liked him, I guess. He was still in that positively 4th Street mode where he was, on purpose, it seemed, not making any sense. You couldn't understand what the fuck Dylan was saying. When I'm doing the melody, you can understand what he wouldn't even do the melody. Blowing in the wind, like a scratched record. And they weren't that entertaining, but I'm fucked up, and I love a lot of Dead tunes. I love, Ripple. Ripple's the song that made in Montreal. Fuck me too. How could I not love Ripple? I mean, the maid at my fucking hotel fucked me while the song Ripple was on. It's the greatest story I have in my sexual story arsenal, and I don't have a lot. There's like 2 of them. Ripple, Hell in a Bucket, Casey Jones, Truck and the Hits. I like it. Friend of the Devil is a great fucking song. But what were you saying, Dan?
There are 2 concerts that I wanted to walk out of. Dave Matthews with those long fucking instrumentals.
Yeah. Oh God, I never would go see Dave Matthews.
I went
no
for a
interest
girl.
I have no interest in Dave Matthews for some reason.
And the same thing with the Dead. This girl that I was dating at the time, she said, "You'll like it, you like it, you like it." I wanted to fucking blow my brains out.
No, what was his name? This girl. No, the Dead. You went for?
Yeah.
She was into the Dead. Yeah, chicks into the Dead. That's the thing. They're not gonna have. They're very au natural with the pussy, though. You know what I mean? There's not one chick who knows every word to the song Hell in a Bucket who has a shaved pussy. If a chick knows every word to the song Hell in a Bucket, chances are they don't have the au natural.
She did not have a shaved pussy.
Of course not. Her pussy probably looked like Jerry Garcia's face. Maybe going to hell in a bucket, baby. But at least I'm enjoying the ride. And, whoa, what is that? That's me pussy, mate. Yeah. What you taking out that machine? What's the big knife for, Governor? You want another whiff of me arse? I'll give you an arse. Get over here. Yeah. So anyway, that's my rap on the YouTube people who follow me around. It's annoying. They look like, I don't know.
This is the end of their tour, by the way.
This is the end of the tour.
Yeah, they were here.
Fuck.
They were here for 5 or 6 nights.
How do we not hear
over
that?
the summer?
We don't
they were
hear
in
that
Chicago
shit.
for 5 or 6 nights.
When you're young, you hear about concerts. When you're 48, you don't. You know what you hear about? The maintenance guy in your building needs to sheetrock your fucking house. That's what you hear about. Because you have money at 48. Although not everybody does. But. Yeah. So, listen. Again, the part where I'm giving these people shit, but, it's very poignant. The one part that might not totally transcend into the TV version of the live performances, at one point they do a few songs about their lives that are autobiographical. About, Bono, The Edge, Larry, whatever his last name is, the drummer, and Adam Clayton, the bass player. Again, Bono's the only one who speaks. He's an amazing front man. He just fucking gets you going. But there's 2 Bonos. There's this Bono that you love that's kind of cool singing these songs, and there's a Bono from that one video, still haven't found what I'm looking for, where he's on your car in traffic in Vegas. Remember he was lying down on people's hoods in Vegas while they were in traffic?
Yeah.
Okay, great. We love the song. Get the fuck out of the way. I'm down $15,000 at the fucking Binions.
I saw him do something terrible once, Bono, at a concert.
What'd he do?
He
Fuck
brought
your girlfriend?
No. He brought a cameraman.
What's his deal sexually, by the way, Bono?
He's married. And but Bill O'Reilly went after him in the press saying that he has a bunch of girlfriends that he brings in, but
I'm talking about never gay stuff.
No.
Okay. Yeah, he has a girlfriend. Does he have kids?
Yeah, he's got kids.
The old grown up kids?
I think so, yeah.
But what do you do to the cameraman?
He had, and it was like 80. It was right when Bad, the live version of Bad came out. So my girlfriend went.
Another amazing fucking song about heroin, by the way. Oof.
And
love that song.
They were playing at we were indoors. I remember it was cold outside. I don't remember what the month, so I don't get some fucking guy on Twitter saying Dan's story doesn't hold up. Dan, the month is wrong.
You're arguing with your microphone.
Don Zimmer.
You're arguing with your microphone.
So he had a cameraman.
You better fuck you. Don't give me your shit.
He had a cameraman. Now I was right on the side of the stage, and he had a cameraman get closer and closer, and he's saying, "Come closer to me, come closer to me." And he was zooming in. The cameraman was walking toward him, and then the cameraman's foot got caught in the cord.
Yeah.
And so when Bono said, "Okay, stop," and then he sang for about 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and then he wanted the cameraman to pull back. He started the hand motion, push back, push back. The guy couldn't go back because his foot was caught, and he kicked the guy off the stage.
Oh, well, I mean, that's not so bad.
Yeah.
The show's got to go on.
Yeah.
What happened to the guy?
He fell off the stage.
Is he all right?
Camera, I would imagine.
I guess so. He's fine. If anyone wants to start a petition where Dan can't interrupt the show for stories anymore, let me know.
So there was it. But then I met him once, and he was a really nice guy.
Oh, of course you met him. Dan's met everybody. You bring up any celebrity, you'll go like, I don't know, the Queen of England. When I met her, what? She was at a cupcake once. She had WGN. She wanted to meet Harry. What? Anyway. So very point. I'm telling you, we're goofing around and we're talking about, whores with smelly pussy. We go off on tangents. Dan's story, of course, very great. What year was that?
Oh, I don't want to get the year wrong.
He did it out of hatred? Like he was mad?
He was mad that the guy didn't get off the stage.
I guess he didn't
get enough.
First of all,
you got enough.
Wait, no, but Dan, in Bono's defense, he probably didn't see the guy's foot, caught, and he's got to get the guy. He might think he's an asshole staying on stage. You know how many people are like that? You could tell with these people. He lets them on stage. He lets one weird motherfucker up there the entire time. He's singing that Paris song at the end, like. Then he tells them to go. He goes, "You got to get out of here now. Go." And they all go. But you can tell he's like, okay, then bye. Bruce is like that when he brings a chick up for dancing in the dark. Some chicks, some of the older ones get a little carried away.
Yeah.
All of a sudden they think they're playing bass.
Hey, I've seen that with you. When people have come up on the stage, they won't get off.
The people in my show, when they get on stage, they think, okay, I'm part of the show now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Did you sign this? Sign my wife's tits. Your wife's not here. Oh. Yeah, so, there's a time for fun, a time for participation, and a time for you to go back to your unbelievably mundane average life, and Bono to go back to his. It's for Bono to go back to being Bono, and you to go back to being, the manager of the fruit stand on fucking McCoy Street. Hey, mister. Are you Bono? I hear you're an Irish motherfucker. You want to roll around in the fucking hoopster? You want to shoot baskets into me fucking hole? You want to tap dance all over my arse? Hey, you got a power scrub over there? You got any Brillo? I need you to wipe me arse. I need my taint scrubbed with some Brillo. It's that time of the month, say. Had a guy last night wanted to rip me fucking vagina out because it stunk. Maybe Jack the Ripper thought he could clean the vagina and bring it back to them. So, again, the point I'm trying to get to is, and I don't want to get political here. There's so much shit going on in the world, but obviously at the end, U2's message is, of course, bring the refugees. The Syrian refugees. Just welcome all refugees. That's what they're saying. Big debate going on in the States, obviously, now about what to do. One of the Paris terrorists said he was, disguised himself as a refugee, supposedly. And that is fucked up. It's as fucked up gets. But, you try to figure out what's right and what's wrong. And, in the States, we put a big moral burden on ourselves, being American. Your Statue of Liberty, bring us your poor, your huddled masses, your people looking to roam free, all that bullshit. And when that statue went up, that was a very different thing. It had a very different meaning. The way the Second Amendment had a different meaning with the right to bear arms. It used to be a slingshot. Now it's an AK-47. Stuff changes. There's terrorists out there who will get in this country any way they can. And that's fucking scary. And it just takes one of them. That's all these people say, or against the terrorists, the refugees coming in. They're like, it just takes one and we're fucked. But, hear me out on this a little bit. I've been very lucky in life, to do what I do for a living and, make a good living.
The neighbor has to use the phone, just so you know.
What neighbor? Well,
she locked herself out accidentally.
Sorry. My neighbor just came in and has to use the phone. Let's stop. Let's take a break. Let's show some respect. Hey, we're back. Leave that in. That's where she came in, and I mentioned Dan had good ears. My next door neighbor. How old is that kid? The kid who locked herself in the apartment. They have a little baby. They're both adorable. The kids. Two girls, right?
Yeah, 4 and 1.
There's a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah.
The 4-year-old, little Brooke, just locked herself in the apartment. So the mom came back. I guess she just ran down the hall or something to throw something out with the little baby. And these doors locked behind you. So little Brooke locked herself in the apartment. So Dan heard her knocking on my door, and the mother had to come in to use the phone to get keys up here. So that segues brilliantly into what I was trying to say. In other words, the mom was a refugee. The mom and the little girl. Now, you could say there's a lot of reasons not to let a mom and a little girl in here. They could throw up all over the place. They could be annoying, like most kids are, and cry and ask you for shit like medicine, water, to take the pillow off their face, stuff like that. Of course, I'm kidding. But no. But what happened though? I let them in. Thank you, Dan. With the possibility that the little girl could have been a little terrorist. Holding a pipe bomb, which is called puke. Again, not to make light of this. It's a very serious issue here. But in the end, and maybe I just watched U2 live, and Bono got to me with his politics. The Bono I saw on the horse with the flag in 1985 got to me. I'm trying to think of how an analogy here. This is all I can think. For the last few months, there's a buddy of mine, one of my best friends growing up. I've been paying his rent for him. And I'm not saying that because I want people to think I'm a great guy or anything. It's just part of the story. I've always been a sucker for people who might need some cash, and I've loaned a lot of money out over the years that will not be paid back. I should say I've given a lot of money away. I look at it as charity, but this kid was as good a friend of mine as you could have growing up, and he fell on some hard times. And we all fall on hard times, man. We all do. Sometimes they're our fault, sometimes they aren't. I mean, look. But I'm certainly not going to judge whether they're your fault or not. Obviously I've fallen on hard times. You people know about it. I've never had to ask people for money because thank God I made enough money to where I didn't need it. But who knows? That could change someday. I don't know. You got to be careful the karma you put out in the world, man. I think that's a real thing. You can't sort of judge people and holier than thou type of thing. As annoying as it could be. And a lot of my friends who know this, I've loaned this kid money before, and he never pays it back. But I love him. The kid's like a brother to me. We went through stuff when we were teenagers that, you go through with certain people in your life, and it creates a bond. And I'm really positive if the tables were turned, he'd do the same thing for me. Now, I have friends who disagree with that. I have friends who say, he's going to burn you. It'll just, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't end good. And he's not being a friend. I have a lot of friends who are like that. And so, this time I was hesitant. But he sent me a text, and I told him so, because he was a little flippant about it. Almost sort of like he deserved it. Like I had done it so many times, the way he asked this time was like, okay, this is what I need. And I'm like, it's not, I said, look, I feel for you, man, but listen to how you're saying this. I mean, it's like you expect it. And that is annoying. So I said that to him. And I was thinking about maybe I shouldn't help him. Maybe it's better for him not to help him. But then he texted me something that I don't know whether he was trying to do this or whatever. I think he was just stating the facts of his life at this point. He said, look, Art, man, I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound that way. I love you. I'm just, I just can't think straight. I am about to be kicked out like today if I don't come up with the rent. And I don't want to be homeless, and I don't want to go to a shelter. He said, I don't want to spend Christmas in a shelter or homeless, which was a real thing. He's not bullshitting about that. I happen to know, I looked into it, and it's a real possibility. And, for all the reasons that my other friends say don't help him out, that might be right, or probably are right. And how in the end I'm going to get burned by it in some way. For as right as those people might be, I could not for the life of me go to bed at night knowing that this kid was homeless or in a shelter. I couldn't do it. I couldn't fall asleep. I don't think that makes me a particularly great person. I think it just makes me a human fucking being. Really think about it. I'm not talking about a stranger. I'm not talking about whatever. I'm talking about a guy who, at one point you laughed with more than you laughed with anybody else. And a kid who, well, quite frankly, was there for you in the old days, in fights. This kid was like a protector of mine in fights. Tough motherfucker. And we had the same issues. Believe me, I just got very lucky in life. As far as income is concerned, I mean, I have a bunch of problems that are still there. Massive issues that don't allow me to lead a normal life. But, luckier than him, I would say. And I don't think I could go to bed. I could not go to bed at night knowing he was in a shelter or homeless on a winter night. I couldn't fall asleep. I'd have to go get him. I'd have to get in the car and go get him. And again, I'm not looking for a pat on the back. I'm saying that's me. And I know that's a really, really, in a lot of ways, horrible analogy to use when it comes to these refugees. But hear me out. We're Americans. Whatever that means, it's supposed to mean that, we'll take you in. I mean, I have a very lucky existence. I talk into a microphone like I'm talking to you now, and I travel around the country telling jokes, and I make a lot of money doing it. I'm very lucky. And the reason I have this life is because a few generations ago, my ancestors were picking tomatoes in southern Italy outside of Naples and said, there's nothing for us here. They looked around and said, there's nothing for us here. They found out that there's a new place where they could maybe go further in life than complete and utter poverty. And more importantly, their kids or grandkids could. So at some point, they got the fuck up, got themselves on a boat somehow with $0 and took everything they had they could carry, and they took a boat ride to America and sailed to the New York Harbor through Ellis Island. There's a record of that. And they got here, and this country looked at their eyes, looked at their tongue, and said, you're all right, and we'll let them in. Because they let them in, a bunch of years later, I'm sitting in a penthouse in New Jersey looking at, I have a perfect view of the New York skyline. Looking at the Empire State Building and the New York skyline, doing a podcast. And that's how I make a living. Because my ancestors got up and went to a place that took them. Now, obviously, my ancestors were far from terrorists. Some people from Newark, New Jersey might argue that. Who knew my ancestors. But, yeah, they landed in Newark, and here we are. It's fucking scary to think that, it just takes one of these Syrian refugees to come in and, they sympathize with ISIS, blah, blah, blah. This bastardization of the religion of Islam, blah, 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 whatever you want to call it, that they want to kill us, that these people want to blow us the fuck up. And they're there. I know. But to me, as Americans, I think what to me overrides that a little bit is the thought of, yeah, there's that, but there's also children, like kids who are waking up with nowhere to bathe, eat, and their parents who aren't terrorists, most of these people aren't, have to look at their crying faces and know they can't help them. Look at them and go, there's nothing I can do for my dying, sick child. I can't, because we're living in a field. Because we're fleeing from someone who wants to torture us and murder us. Literally. And we were always sort of that beacon of light. They're like, where can these people go? Well, here we are. A bunch of countries are kind of like that too now, of course, obviously. But I'm saying America was the place. Come over here, we'll take you. And I think, the guilt you might have as Americans, knowing that kid is out there crying somewhere, that family that aren't terrorists, who again are, a large portion of those refugees, in the 90 percentile, believe me. And, the parents helpless, not able to give their kids food or water or bathe them with clean water, that hopelessness, the fact that they're out there, to me, overrides the fact that one guy might come in and try something. I just have, I would have guilt. I'm not trying to put that guilt on anybody else, because I get both arguments, believe me, but I thought long and hard about this, and after seeing U2 live in Paris, and, listening to Bono's message, and, thinking about how I really felt about my buddy being homeless. To me, it's a bigger version of that. Can we really sit here knowing that these people are suffering? I guess some people can. You get here and you're very comfortable. We're very comfortable here. It doesn't seem like it's real. Well, a lot of people in San Bernardino thought that too, and guess what? It became real. I get that. I know. I see both sides of the argument. It's very difficult, but ultimately, I'm on the side of, you know what? Let's take as many of these people in as we can. And what the answer is, we're going to have to fight these motherfuckers when they're here. And anyone who wants to be mean to a cop, be careful, because you're looking at our army. The cops in San Bernardino, they were basically like the U.S. Army. They bring in a war to us, a new kind of war. And the people who got in that shootout, the cops who got in that shootout with these people, and the people they saved, those are the new version of the U.S. fucking military. And it could be cops in any town, USA. We're just going to have to, treat our cops like heroes, maybe. Train them properly. Arm them properly. Make sure the guns are in the hands of people that know how to fucking use them. Not anybody. And fight them. Fight these bastards. Like that guy, what was that guy's name on the Pittsburgh flight 9/11 who said, let's roll, whatever that guy was?
Beamer. Todd Beamer.
Todd Beamer. Talk about the chills. They hear that guy's voice. They figured out what was going to happen. These guys are going to fly that fucking plane into the White House, wherever, the Capitol. People are going to die on the ground. So what happened was 5 regular guys up there, 5 men on their way to a business trip, who probably were never in the Army, became the U.S. military. Those guys became our Army up there. And that guy said, let's roll, meaning let's go fucking take these guys out. And they did. That's the American spirit. I'm not saying, I'm not coming from a pacifist point of view at all. These motherfuckers try something, take their fucking heads off. But ultimately, and I'm not a politician. I don't claim to know all the facts here. I'm probably missing shit where the people on Twitter will point out, well, Artie, here's why you're a wrong fat asshole. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I'm just relating it to my buddy and how the guilt I felt and would feel. Think about it, guys. Think about what those people are going through. Right now, there's a kid starving to death because some fucking tyrant was torturing and murdering their people so much that they had to leave. They had to get up and get the fuck out of there to get away from the bombs that were going to drop. We're bombing the fuck out of ISIS right now, man. We really are.
And at least we're being careful. The Russians are just dropping them.
Exactly. We're trying not to. Again, we're always the good guy. I get it. And there's a lot of people go, why do we always have to be the good guy? And you're right. I get that anger. But you know what? Because we're the good guy. Because the world needs the good guy. We're trying to, not hit a school or kids or a family, civilians. Putin, that crazy motherfucker, Putin. What's going to happen with him? What's the future there? That guy is dug in. This is our way of life now, guys. We got to be tough. But changing the way Americans are with people like this is being defeated already in some ways. They're forcing us to change the way we are, or the way we're supposed to be. I know a lot. Of course, the way we are. It sounds like naive bullshit. I know, but ultimately, I'm not. The Trump thing. All Muslims. First of all, that's not going to happen. It's ridiculous. That can't happen. It's physically. It's impossible. But to go to another step, a lot of people are seeing that and going, okay, we won't do that, but we'll do it with the refugees. You got to take in these people who need our help. You have to, because that's what we are. And if we can't stop something, we got to put money into this. Got to put money into security here. We do. It sucks, but we do. And train people that might become our military. How to take these motherfuckers out when they act up. Those San Bernardino cops, man, they were a shining example of when cops are at their best. A lot of the media is quick to put cops up who aren't the best example of most cops. But again, maybe I might think differently tomorrow. I don't know. But I don't know. It is. You go back and forth. You see every point of view. But Dan, you want to comment on this? What do you think about that?
I think that we have to let some of the refugees in.
You fag! Not all right. There's got to be a vetting process. With the vetting process, which by the way takes forever. I'm not saying here, guys, just come in, but we got to. You got to be open to it. You got to ask some questions and vet them. But I'm not going to sit here and say that's 100%. Going to work,
right? But the kid, the San Bernardino shooter, was born here.
Right.
He was born in Illinois.
Yeah.
So
because of the internet, right? Because of the internet, guess what? They're here. They came in through that.
There is a whole class of 21 to 28-year-old men because of what they see on the internet. I think there's way more problems in this country than whatever Syrian refugee we're going to let in.
Yeah.
But they're fascinated and they're intrigued by what they see on the internet.
Right.
They want to know why their lives aren't like that. This guy was the friend of the San Bernardino shooter was spewing off. He was a security guard at Walmart, and that's where he would, we have to address that also.
Address what? Explain what you just said. What does that mean? Walmart. What are you talking about?
The friend of the guy who got the guns.
Yeah, right.
For the San Bernardino shooter.
Right.
The two things. He was said that he was fascinated by he wasn't necessarily a terrorist or a radical Muslim, but he was fascinated by what he read on the internet, and he talked a lot about it at Walmart. And he said he had a lower income job at Walmart, and he didn't see a great life ahead of him.
People get disgruntled in this country too. Again, I realize I'm in the top 5 percentile of people. The income I have and the job I have. I get it. If I worked at Walmart my whole life or managed whatever, a Dairy Queen or whatever, and I saw that future, I'd be pissed off too. I know, but it doesn't mean you have the right to kill everybody. You can't be jealous of people. And take that jealousy to the next level and go, I'm jealous of this guy's life. Why is my life not like, Jennifer Aniston's? Well, nobody's life is. There's different levels. But yeah, the American kids nowadays, American white kids, they want that life. They want to be the Kardashians.
Exactly.
They want to be the fucking, that ain't happening.
And they want to be on TV. They all think they're fucking good enough to be on TV.
TV, television, or athletes. If they can't be an athlete, they want to be an actor, a singer, writer, overweight comedian. I worked hard to be an overweight comedian. So, that's my wrap on that. I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I think it's on us a little bit on us to help these people out.
And we can't tell other countries they have to take in people, and we can't do it ourselves.
Yeah,
so we have to take in at some point. We have enough, and
yeah. So it's, but at the same time, I realize if someone gets in that's a terrorist. And it takes one massacre for everyone to make everybody who sounds like me look like an asshole. I get that too, but if that happens, we just have to fight them. You got to fight. We just have to be ready to fight these motherfuckers. And the argument with guns, it comes down to a simple question. Donald Trump says, and the NRA says, like the people. In Paris that were in those cafes. If one of those people in those cafes had a gun, it would have been a lot different. Okay, I agree with you, but how? How? You're talking about, okay, one of these people that's out at a cafe with a date, they're in cafe mode with a date. And what they have, okay, the theory is they have a 9mm Glock taped to their fucking ankle. All right. And then terrorists come in. They're in terrorist mode with AK-47s. How many people civilians are like Bruce Willis and Die Hard that are going to go from cafe mode to fighting terrorist mode, grab the 9mm gun, get cover, make sure you're covered, and take them out with headshots?
Zero,
right? So now there's another gun in there. That will probably end up in the hands of the guys who are trained to use the fucking rifles.
Absolutely.
In that mode. Are you going to be comforted if somebody says this? Say you're in that cafe and 4 guys come in with AK-47s and someone comes up to you and goes, "Good news, Donald Trump is here and he has a gun." No, that's going to make me feel worse. Is Donald Trump going to roll over into a perfect fucking Navy SEAL position and take these motherfuckers out? No, he's not.
They'll ruin his hair.
And half of the NRA dentists who go shoot fucking lions for $50,000 aren't going to do it either. They're just not. Even if we were ready for them. If someone said in 5 minutes a bunch of terrorists are coming in here with rifles, even then I'd go, let's get the fuck out of here. Wait, I have a gun. Really? Okay, bye. You have a gun. Good. Stay here. I'm leaving. Again, unrealistic to think these people aren't going to get guns too, but we got to do something. We got to do something in a positive direction. And this election's coming up, and a lot of people can get in based on fear. There's a lot of fear going on. And I say this with all due respect to anybody whose relative has been killed, hurt. I mean, it's just god awful, man. What's going on is god awful, and we just need a debate going on that's real, intelligent. Very difficult to figure this out. So, I don't know, that's what I was thinking. But that's because I watched. My mind is very easily influenced. Let's put it that way. I watched U2 in Paris. Tonight at midnight, I could watch Dirty Harry, and tomorrow have a way different. Let's get the refugees. Let's kill them all. I could watch Dirty Harry or Die Hard, and tomorrow say, let's not only not take the refugees in, let's go shoot them.
Did Artie Lang have 6 shots or only 5?
Tell you the truth, I forgot myself in all this excitement. But if I were you, I'd ask myself a question. Do I feel lucky?
But seeing this as a .44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off.
That's a great segment. Dan ruins great movies.
Well, because you forgot the lines?
No. Well, first of all, let me do the lines. No matter what, if I'm performing something, no matter what is no matter what mistake I make, that is not an invite for you to take over on the performance level. You understand, mate? You get me, governor? Is that a gun you got in your pocket? Is that a slingshot? Mate, you got a musket on you. Looks, is that a musket? What you doing? Oh, you're carving out me pussy. Why is he carving out me vagina? Does it stink, mate? I've heard that before. All right, let's take a break. Hey, we're back. We're back. One last thing on the U2 thing, something else I noticed. There's definitely a way for U2 to make some money here off the Republican race for president. The second song they do in the set is that Vertigo. Hello, there's a place called Vertigo. What does that sound like, guys? What could be very easily plugged in there for a political commercial? Hello, vote for Marco Rubio. Come on, Bono, you'll be printing money. I would go to Marco Rubio's campaign and go, listen.
Oh, yeah.
How much? I know they see direct opposite as far as politically is concerned. But this is about cash, cold hard cash. Bono could say, look, you get in though, man. It's like I'm president. It's like what Sam Giancana wanted from Kennedy. Kennedy backed out. Sam Giancana hired a maniac to blow his head off. Hello, vote for Marco Rubio. He looks like he was in my noodle. He's a real stud, Oh, he likes guns, Vote for Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio, He's not like Trump, I love it.
He'll shut down the board,
He'll shut down the board. He's a Marco Rubio. His parents were poor, They didn't have a lot of money, They were immigrants, They fled Fidel Castro. His parents fled Castro. Marco Rubio.
El hurry up, and vote for Rubio.
Come on, hurry up, Vote for Marco Rubio. Come on, Bono. I'm Bono, and I'm for Marco Rubio. That's why I said this. Springsteen could have made a lot of money with. After The Rising came out, he could have went to. How much money could he have gotten for this? Make a call on Verizon. Make a call on Verizon. AT&T is for pussy. Make a call on Verizon, Hi, I'm the boss. Well, people say to me, what's your favorite phone company? I'm like, well, isn't that obvious? Plug it in, baby. I'm for Verizon, 100%. Make a call on Verizon. I'm a Marco Rubio. Oh, it's endless. I'll write that in 2 seconds. I mean, look, after taxes, Bono's clearing at least 6 figures on that deal. What do you think Bono's net worth is?
Oh, forget it.
It would probably give you a headache to look at the number. I'm sure he doesn't know either. So you're saying there's no amount of money Rubio could come up with, probably?
It's saying here in the 600 million range.
That's a good range. That's a good range, So Rubio would have to come up with at least 200 mil to use the song.
And Bono, if I'm not mistaken, made a ton of money off. He was one of the very early investors in Facebook.
That's right. He was. I wasn't. He was. I did just have someone in my life with a little vision to bought Apple at $98 or something. Come on, man. I mean, come on. I'm watching Fox News. I don't know exactly what Fox News is going for. I don't politically. Again, I go right, I go left. I don't care. But it's clear that Fox News is trying to become like the left in the sense that they feel, show business is liberal left. And they have all the comedians, most of them. They have all the, personalities, entertainment. And so there's a group of people that I don't know if they're supposed to be political experts or comedians. Like sometimes they're giving you a political analysis that seems, like sounds like they know what they're talking about. Maybe they're not. But a lot of these young broads who are like adorable. And then you'll see them in a sketch like they're Gilda Radner or something. This Greg Gutfeld guy he's become the face of the network as far as comedy is concerned. I don't know what's happening. The guy's not a funny person. But it's clear someone there Bill O'Reilly talks to him. Bill O'Reilly, by the way, I guess hanging out with Dennis Miller, he adapted that thing about that comedians adapt where they call each other by their last names, like Spade and Sandler. O'Reilly's like, Gutfeld's coming up. Hey, Gutfeld, guess who's in next? Gutfeld. And they're sweating. They're trying so hard, they're sweating to look like they have some sort of off-air camaraderie. What's up, Gutfeld? Come on, huh? What are you talking about? Gutfeld's next. What? My God. There's a show called Red Eye that's on at 3 a.m. I watch it. I have to watch it. I can't not watch it. Tom Shalhoub is actually a funny guy. He's a real funny guy. And, I know what they're going for, but a lot of dead spots in that show. A lot of spots that could be, there's room for improvement. I know guys who do it. So, again, I just think it's like Jackie Robinson, The first black guy, Branch Rickey said, not only you have to be the first, you have to be good. You got to play well. Otherwise, you're going to, ruin it for the rest of your race. A lot of pressure on Jackie Robinson, man. That's why he's one of my favorite Americans ever, man. He looked at the pressure in the face and said, fuck you. I'll take your name calling. I won't say anything for a couple of years, and I'll be a great player. So if the right is going to get into the comedy game and the entertainment game, you better be as good as Jackie Robinson. Greg Gutfeld is not the Jackie Robinson of right-wing comedy. He's hitting about 140. Odd-looking guy, too. Looks like an elf or something. But sometimes he's funny, and I know what they're going for. They're going for the... And look, I agree with you. They got the best material there is because the left is so embarrassing. Oh, left-wing politics, they're so pretentious, pompous asses. They're like softballs coming in. There's sweat over there, too. But if they're going to get into the comedy game, some of these chicks over there, these cute chicks, they go from being like, George Will to Robin Williams. What's going on? Everything they say is supposed to be funny. Well, to me, I guess Rupert Murdoch saw a tape of these people and said, no, we're going to go with these guys. These are the funny right-wingers.
Is that Red Eye calling you to be on the show?
I would do that show. And look, I'm not saying it's easy to sit there on live television and be funny about all these types. It's difficult. Not easy. But I guess Nick has done that show. If you're going to have, like Nick DiPaolo's a real funny motherfucker. Why isn't he on like every night? You got to be, if you're going to go into that game, you better be funny. Again, I guess they're funny enough. I'm not trying to bash them at all. I guess I'm a fan of them. But they got to step up the average. That's what I'm saying. If they're going to get into that game. If they want to be Stephen Colbert. He's another one, Colbert, alienating a lot of the audience. Well, guess what? Of course he is. That guy's funny and he's smart. But there could not be a more aloof, pompous ass. Holy shit, does he seem like a... Oof. He's the smart kid in class you just want to hit with a fungo bat in the head. I'm smarter than you, eh? So I guess the ratings are down. Yeah, there's a lot for he had a niche on Comedy Central. And he won every Emmy on the planet because that's what they do. They give Emmys to people who, talk like that. But... And I'm not saying he's not funny. He's funny as hell. And smart as hell. But I'm saying there's a way to it's. I understand why some people in the Midwest might not get him or feel insulted by him. Dan, your thoughts?
I keep on going back to that great line by Michael Jordan when they thought that he was not sticking up for the African-American race enough and Democrats. And Michael Jordan said, Republicans buy sneakers also. And I want Republicans to listen to this podcast. So,
But don't. Yeah, well, of course. Well, don't. It's not your podcast. what do you mean? Yeah, of course I do. What was this? The liberal fucking point of view because you're on it? It's my show.
And I'm not as liberal.
I'm not Mr. Liberal. I want Republicans to listen to this. Of course.
I think Stephen Colbert just...
What does that even mean? And Michael Jordan, first of all, it's not so brilliant. Second of all, he didn't say it.
I said it?
Yeah, some white guy said it.
Okay.
And told him, say this. Michael, say this. You know what? Just stop talking. My God. Boy, I'm very, very upset I went to you on that.
So I would not be asked back on the 5 the next day?
You want Republicans to listen to them. What does that mean? that has to be said out loud? Anybody with $7 a month, baby. It's mostly Republicans. I got news for you. They got money. Got people on Twitter going, I just can't hack to $7 a month. What? What are you, a fucking sharecropper? What, no rain this year? What happened? $7 a month. Again, I accept the argument. No, I think you're an asshole and not funny. That makes sense. Not affording the $7 a month. Whoa, that's rough. That's a hard one to believe. You hit hard times over there, man. So the only thing I wanted to bring up is the Washington Post online had a big article about Howard, and the woman interviewed me for it. And I got to say, a lot of print people burn you, but she did. She wrote a great article. Libby Copeland, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Libby Copeland or Copland. Is it Copeland or Copland? Anyway, one of the two. The only one that's Libby, the only reporter named Libby probably on the planet. But she writes for the Washington Post. It came out online today, and it's an article about Howard's changed, but it's from a very positive point of view. I told her, I said, I've been burned by print people before. I don't want to talk to you and have it out like I'm some guy bashing Howard. And she goes, no, it's not like that. And she was right. And she pretty much got it. To me, her angle in this article is the angle I basically gave her. And I said that I think Howard, obviously changed the show. And I'm commenting on this again because the article's out. It's relevant. But I think Howard realized that, he has this skill for interviewing. And he does. There's nobody I'd rather hear interview some interesting celebrity, especially from my generation, than Howard Stern. Who would you rather hear doing Howard with? I don't know, Jack Nicholson. Pick a guy. Mick Jagger, Keith Richards. Howard Stern, man. There's nobody even close. Barbara Walters, what? He's the guy. You'd want to hear interview those people. So I think, he made a conscious decision at one point to say, look, the reason I'm not getting these A-listers, and I knew this firsthand when I was there, is because the rest of the show is crazy. And they might not want to be associated with what the rest of this show is. Or get asked questions that I'm known for asking about, getting laid on the road, whatever the fuck it could be to anybody who's a celebrity. Doesn't want to deal with it. One big celebrity I was talking to, I was working with them, I was acting in a show with them, and I said, hey, I got to come on the show. He goes, Art, I love the show, but I would never do it in a million years because of, that reason I just said. Howard asked those questions, and, the rest of the show looked like it goofed on retards and gays and what, it was politically incorrect humor at its absolute finest. It was just dangerous comedy, which is the kind of comedy I love the most. And I miss it, along with a lot of other people. But what you get in return is, I think Howard said, if I change that, I'll be able to get these A-list people. And it's worked. He's completely changed his image to where he can get people like Gwyneth Paltrow. Bill Murray is mentioned in this article. And people felt it was the best Bill Murray interview they ever heard. I think, again, my point in the article is the Paul McCartney interview he did after 9/11. I was there for that. I was in the studio. And it was just goddamn impressive. And these people do open up to him. I know, but look, I was interviewed by the guy every day. He gets to you. He does. Makes you think it's just you and him in that room, man. And then you get out on 6th Avenue and you realize it wasn't. But I think he made a conscious decision. I'm going to stop the rebellious thing because I'm bored of it. And I'll make Gary the retard, Gary the conqueror. If that's what it takes to get A-list people in here to interview them, fine. Because I think, and this is me putting words in his mouth, but I think he wants to leave behind possibly the greatest category, greatest library of celebrity interviews ever. He could do that. In-depth stuff. On series, I can talk for an hour and a half. There's 3 hours what Billy Joel did that's extraordinary. But again, what do you give up? In that scenario, you give up the old show with that politically incorrect humor. That was very dear to people. That was always my favorite part of the show. The reason I was on the show. Now, I'm not giving myself too much importance here, but I think me leaving the show helped speed this up because obviously I would not fit into that show. I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow's publicist is letting her within a foot of me. Not happening. It's just a very different show with me on that microphone. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying that I think he felt that way. I left, and he said, fuck it. I'm going to go for this. And he's going for it. And quite frankly, he's already got a library that's very impressive with some major people. But there's a lot more people I'm sure he wants to get. I know Howard. I know on his list has got to be Neil Young, Mick Jagger, and Keith Richards. Together or separate. Think about it. Jagger and Richards never sat down for an interview like that. That would be appointment radio, man. So as of today, he still hasn't announced, unless he did. I guess this week is the last 3 shows of this year. He still hasn't announced what's happening. I got a feeling he's going to stay at Sirius, but he hasn't announced yet. But that's what it's about. And a lot of people do lament and miss the old show. I got to tell you, in the article, this really happened. I was in a town car going to a gig, and the show was on. And Richard Christie came in and told Howard that his guinea pig died. And he said, yeah, my guinea pig died. And people on the internet were putting up on Twitter like pictures of a little guinea pig with angel wings in heaven. And of course, I'm sitting there, in my head doing the old show, and I would have goofed on him for 2 hours. Imagine me and Gilbert in the studio, and that comes in. And Howard would have too. Jackie Martling in this article reminds me of something I had forgot. Jackie's cat died. Jackie had a cat that died in the 90s, and they goofed on him for 2 weeks about missing the cat. Now Howard's Mr. Cat. So, Howard talked about how him and Bethel lamented the loss of their dog, and that's fine. But Howard did the right thing. He said, look, I'd be a hypocrite if I made fun of Richard Christie for his guinea pig dying. I'm sure Fred Norris had to bite the button there. Ooh, he was ready. I would have been ready too. And the driver sort of noticed that. And I said, yeah, I think Howard's doing the right thing, though. He'd be a hypocrite if he goofed on him. And he goes, yeah, but I want him to. It's so stupid. And you can hear Howard laughing, almost forcing himself not to goof on Richard Christie. So in the car, talk about pathetic. In the town car, I started doing the old show for this driver. I was doing the old show for one guy on the LIE. And I loved it. And the guy laughed harder and harder. And that was, as a pathetic comedian, that was fodder for me. I kept going. Because I used to do an impression of Richard's dad. Hey, Richard, this is your dad. Heard the guinea pig died. They go good with squirrel. You might want don't throw that out yet. You might want to put it on the oven, kill a squirrel or two, and make some guinea pig hash. That's what we call Italian pigs around here. That's a joke. I don't know if you get away with that in New York, but you could laugh privately at that joke. Anyway, I'll see you later. Yeah, but guinea pig died. I was at Papa John's Pizza, and I wanted to cry. The manager that knows me there, because I go in a lot, said, "Why are you crying?" I said, "Because my guinea pig died." my guinea pig died. I couldn't stop saying. I got on the plane. I kept going. My guinea pig died. Kept rolling. Hey, my guinea pig. What happened? Why, sir? Why are you crying? My guinea pig died. What? My guinea pig died. I cooked it up with some squirrel meat, some roadkill, some guinea pig. Guinea pig parmigiano. I'm gonna make some. Papa John's is featuring guinea pig parmigiano. Guinea bacon. Let's make some guinea bacon out of the guinea pig. How about guinea brazoot? Guinea gabagoo. Guinea pig gabagoo. I'm gonna make some guinea pig gabagoo. I miss Richard too. Richard's a great guy. I love Richard. Again, but so that's it. So that's what you sacrifice. A lot of people might say, look, you know, I had this driver laughing. At one point we pulled over, he was laughing and laughing, and I kept doing it. And it was a little like, wow, I must miss the show. So I get that people miss that part of it, but you got to look at what you're getting in return. And this might not matter to people, but I'm sure it would to a lot of people. It certainly intrigues me. You get a guy who's going to get these people in that, you know, quite frankly, it would do them justice in their career, and it would be a positive for them in their career to go in because it's amazing promotion. Howard still makes news. An interview with Howard still makes news. So that's it. At 62 years old, this is what you get, man. Howard's evolved in a lot of ways. And the other analogy I made to the reporter that she puts in there is, I've said this before, is Positively 4th Street with Dylan. When Dylan plugged in, I believe 1966 it was, or 65 at the Newport Jazz Festival. He came out and he played electric guitar. And the folk music fans that loved him, followed him around the country, were devastated. Angry. How could you betray folk music like that? Fuck you. I'm never seeing it again. Blah, blah. I'm never paying for you again. You betrayed me. I mean, listen to those people. They sound like morons. This is an artist that was evolving. He had, you know, captured and conquered the acoustic folk music scene. Now he plugged in. Where's he going to go with that? And quite frankly, he went to amazing places. A little album called Blood on the Tracks proves that. Maybe the best fucking album ever. But Dylan was like, you know, a lot of his fans were thinking, oh yeah, he'll hear us complain and he'll apologize and go back to acoustic. A lot of people were pompous and pretentious enough to think that. And Dylan was like the direct opposite. Fuck you. I'm an artist. I'm evolving as an artist. You want to come? Fine. If not, I don't give a shit. And a lot of people went. Most people probably ended up going, and the people that did were very satisfied. But I think Howard in some mode is like that. He's had some anger towards fans who lament and bitch on the Twitter and everything about it. And he's like, guys, what do you want from me? Come or not? But this is my decision. And that's the deal. That's presenting the facts. And that's not the part that's odd to me about Howard. The other part about Howard that's odd is more of a personal thing that I'm done getting into. But I think a lot of people, before you bitch about that show, this article in the Washington Post, we're going to tweet it. We tweeted it, right, Dan?
Yeah.
I recommend it by Libby Copeland, Libby Copeland, I think. Check it out. It's worth a read. She hits the nail on the head. It's very pro the Stern Show. And in a lot of ways, it should be. But it does say that she understands the fans. And the other thing about the fans who like the old show, by the way, you people who like the goofiness and the fart humor and everything, don't let people think you're stupid. Don't let people say you're stupid and dumb for liking that comedy. That's a terrible argument. Comedy's got nothing to do with intelligence. It shouldn't. It can. But what makes you laugh should be a gut level thing of like, fuck, that's just funny. The movie Jackass is not for intellectuals, but it's the hardest I've ever laughed in a fucking movie theater. It doesn't mean you're stupid if you like, you know, Beetlejuice comedy or Gary the Retard over Gary the Conqueror. Doesn't make you an asshole, doesn't make you dumb. Just make you like to laugh, that's all. Some people go, oh, I guess you're not smart enough to get... Yeah, well, we're smart enough. We get it. We're smart enough to get the Gwyneth Paltrow interview. It's just, it's about laughing. That's all it's about. That's all it should be about. But I, for one, am intrigued to see the next era in the Howard Stern show life, because I do want to see him interview those people that he had. That no one is into. People from, again, rock stars from the 60s and 70s who have never opened up. Maybe because there was no one there they felt worth it opening up to, at least verbally. That's not in print. I think Howard's that guy. So the positives in many ways can outweigh the negatives. But it's a decision that you have to make. So that's it. Check out thewashingtonpost.com. Libby Copeland's article. I'm in it. That's why I brought that up. And that's all I have to say about that. But get a pig. But get a pig died. But get a pig still dead. Bill Cosby is suing 5 of the women who accuse him of rape. But the balls on this motherfucker.
I think it was 7.
7?
Yeah.
He's suing 7 of the women accusing him of rape. So the other 30, what about them?
30? 50?
Yeah. So I guess, look, what's he saying here? What's Fat Albert saying? I raped 50 of them.
He said the women were lying.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Cosby claims the women have made malicious, opportunistic, and false and defamatory accusations of sexual misconduct against him.
Right. Well, there's a math issue here. If those 7 are lying, what about the other 50? What are they doing? If you raped just one woman in your life, and you're guilty, suing any other person for accusing you of rape is a ballsy move. I don't know what happened. Again, he got very good at putting women to sleep. Like a Vegas hypnotist. And on the count of 3, you're sleeping. When I clap my hand, you're sleeping, and you're sleeping. Okay, you're asleep. I'm not coming on your back. I'm not coming on your back. I'm not raping you. If you wake up with jizz on your back, that's Malcolm Jamal Warner. And Malcolm Jamal Warner jizzed on your back. I'm not jizzing on your back. I didn't enter you anally. I did not enter your ass. You are not being raped by the legendary comedian Bill Cosby. And when I snap my fingers, we're going to come back to life, and you're going to be happy, very happy. You're auditioning for a voiceover part on Fat Albert when I come back. And we're back. Howard. I don't know, guys. Cosby's legacy really ruined. If he wins these lawsuits, one of these, I hope one of them is Janice Dickinson, because her I do not believe. What an annoying broad she is. Holy shit. Janice Dickinson is the only woman who at one time in her life, held the title of supermodel, who I have ignored in a delicatessen. I had a meeting with my agent about something during the Stern days. I did the Stern show, and I went to meet him over at Rockefeller Center at one of the delis there. We got a table in the back. We used to talk there about different shit. And she was in the deli with a bunch of people, and she recognized me. I didn't really know it was her first, but she kept screaming, Artie lie. And my agent said, that's Janice Dickinson. I said, really? She kept screaming, oh, back in the day, we would have done some coke together, right, Artie? And I said to my agent, that woman at one point was a supermodel, and I am trying to get away from her. That means you're fucking annoying. So she's one of the ones that accused Cosby of. The interviews with Janice Dickinson accusing Cosby of rape, some of the live interviews she did at some of these shows on like CNN, they should put out an album. She's crying over, she doesn't make any sense.
She is not in the lawsuit.
Not in the lawsuit. Well, he probably wanted to avoid that lunacy. She's ruining the claims of the other people because she seems retarded. And of course, the other news I want to touch on today, Rob Manfred, the new commissioner for Major League Baseball, decided not to reinstate Pete Rose. Now look, obviously, Pete Rose is a degenerate gambler. I did a pilot with him for a cartoon once, and me and him talked, recording this pilot for like 4 hours, and he still loves talking about gambling. He's open about it. He lives in Vegas. He moved to Las Vegas. That's like a diabetic moving to Candyland. Yeah, you know? It's like a diabetic becoming a chocolatier. Dan, of course, was married to a chocolatier. So, you know, yeah, he's a degenerate gambler. He should never be allowed to put on a major league uniform and go near the bench of a game ever. Coaching, front office, never ever. I get that. But if reinstating him in baseball means putting him in the Hall of Fame, then I'm for reinstating him in baseball. And he can't get in the Hall of Fame there without being reinstated, correct? Is that true?
I think so, yes. Really?
The guy got up. When the guy got up, he got a hit 4,000, I believe, 290-something times. All right? When you get up, your object is to get a hit. That's what you want to do in baseball. He did it more times than anybody ever. Played the game like nobody, man. Pete Rose played the game with a fucking reckless abandon. He was so entertaining to watch. Clearly an asshole, though, who high-fived you a little too hard, like Tom Cruise. But in some ways, a guy I can relate to. He's a character that's not the best, a flawed guy. He told me in that pilot, this is a God's honest truth. The pilot never came out. There's a clip of it on the internet. If you Google Artie Lang, Pete Rose cartoon, it'll come up. The pilot never got made, but they released clips from the session me and Rose had. He told me in that session, the premise was I played a guy who lived in his mom's attic who kidnapped like professional athletes who I loved, and I would tie them up and force them to tell me stories in my attic. That was the premise. So it was almost all improv. And my deal was to get Pete Rose to tell me Artie Lang stories, and I got a couple of great ones out of him. But one of them was, and it's in the clip on the internet. My hand to God, this is the truth. He said that when Riverfront Stadium was built, the new stadium for the Reds in the early 70s, their version of Three Rivers and the Vet and all that shit, those multi-sport stadiums that were ugly and not personal, terrible. The antithesis of, Wrigley Field and wherever stadium tries to go now. When that was built, opening day at Riverfront was coming up. Tony Perez was a first baseman for the Reds, great player, Mr. RBI. Barely spoke English. Pete Rose, according to Pete Rose bet Tony Perez that he would be the first person to take a shit in Riverfront Stadium in the clubhouse. Tony Perez bet Pete Rose, I believe, it was something like $150. I'm not kidding. So Pete Rose at the time in the early 70s, probably making a few $100,000 a year. The $1 million salaries hadn't come in yet, but I bet he was making $300,000, $200,000, which in the early 70s in Cincinnati, you're living in a palace. $150, I think it was. Pete Rose bet Tony Perez he'd shit before him at Riverfront. Perez takes the bet, which is crazy in itself. Pete Rose gets to the stadium 3 hours early before batting practice, drinks coffee, and eventually shits. And he's the first one to shit. He shits an hour before Tony Perez even gets to the stadium. He leaves the shit in the bowl to prove to Tony Perez he shit. Makes the clubhouse manager not flush it. He tells him, don't flush it. I have to prove Tony Perez I shit first to win $150. When Tony Perez gets there, before he can get dressed, Rose grabs him, takes him in the fucking bathroom, and shows him the shit. And Tony Perez goes, wow, man, okay, here. Tony Perez gave him $150. Okay. If that story doesn't make you think Pete Rose is a degenerate gambler, you don't have hearing. I'm a degenerate gambler. My mouth was open during that story. What did you bet? So clearly he can't be near a game. He'll bet on it eventually. He bet on shitting first at a stadium. Bet with a guy who might not have understood what he was saying during the bet. Tony Perez might have shook his head, yes, not knowing what the fuck he was talking about. So you can't let him near a game, but he's got to be in the Hall of Fame, man. He's got to be in the Hall of Fame. Now, look, there's stuff, Paul Giamatti, the actor's father, Bart Giamatti, was, this generation, that's how you know. Paul Giamatti, the great actor from Sideways, his father, Bart Giamatti, was the commissioner of baseball in the 80s, late 80s, when all the shit went down with Rose. He got a report on Pete Rose's gambling issues while he was a player and a manager, and basically put into play like baseball legislation that Pete Rose was not only suspended during his time, for life, forever, could never be reinstated, even after Giamatti was dead. And people say Giamatti had it out for Rose, didn't like him personally, but again, people like Mike Francesa says, "There's stuff. I've read the Giamatti report, and guys, there's stuff in that report that's crazy." All right, I'm not going to say what it is. Francesa's always got to be an insider. Not going to say what it is, but I was shown a report. Not going to say how I was shown a report. A guy I know showed me the report. I, Mike Francesa, have seen the report. The Giamatti report on Pete Rose. I've seen the report. I, Mike Francesa, one of the few people to have seen the report. I've seen it. Believe me. He should not be reinstated. Okay? Look. And I'm sympathetic towards the guy. I love Pete Rose. I loved him. But if you read the Giamatti report, like I've read the report, then you'd say, wow, what a report. Then we'd have something to talk about. Until then, I'm more important than you in every way. I have access to the Giamatti report. Hey, Mr. Francesa Gavin, you want to eat my pussy? No. I'd eat anything else but your pussy. Have you seen the report? What report are you talking about, Gavin? The Giamatti report. Who's Giamatti? Does he want to go and tussle with me too? I'm talking to a whore. How am I talking to a whore? I mean, I don't know why I'm talking to you either, Gavin. Look at the size of your arse. Don't bring up the size of my ass. You got an enormous arse. How do you fit in this one chair with that arse? You're getting on my nerves, whore. I read the report. So supposedly there's crazy shit. Which basically, what is he saying? He's saying that Pete Rose, when he was manager for the Reds, supposedly bet on the Reds to lose. That's what he's saying. That's what he's getting towards. What else could it fucking be? We've seen evidence. There's paperwork out there, and people have seen proof that he bet on the Reds to win, which obviously is not as bad as betting on them to lose, because if you bet on them to lose as a manager, you could throw the game. That's the difference. Now, if you bet on them to win, you affect your team too. You might leave a reliever in too long and say fuck his arm for the next game, which hurts the season longevity-wise, because you have to win that game because you got money on it. You make different decisions that affect the long-term success of the team because you have to win that one game. So that's not good either. And there's definite evidence that he bet on the Reds. But what Francesa's saying with the report, what's he saying? The only other thing that he could be saying is that he bet against the Reds while he was manager. And maybe there's evidence that he threw a game. That's what he's saying. Unforgivable. Unforgivable. But I still want him in the Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb could have been the Grand Dragon of the Klan. Okay? I mean, could have been, might have helped start the Klan from Georgia. The most racist motherfucker you can imagine. And everyone hated him. He's in the fucking Hall of Fame. There are alcoholics, drug addicts, philanderers, guys who cheat on their wives. They're all in the Hall of Fame. Not a lot of Boy Scouts in the fucking Hall of Fame, by the way. Everyone's got their issues. The new thing is steroids. To me, steroids is worse than Rose. Absolutely. Tainted an entire generation's statistics. It's odd. A lot of people say they still won't vote for A-Rod or Clemens, and they may never get in. I'm more for them never getting in than Rose. Dan, for all the new Republicans listening, I'll end the show with your thoughts on this. I feel safe getting your thoughts on this, I guess.
I think that he should be put in the Hall of Fame with a plaque that says, this happened. He had all these hits, but at the bottom, he was banned from the game. Well, but I do think that he should be in the Hall of Fame. I do. But he should not be. The thing is, with the story that I'm reading
if I were Pete Rose, I'd say no. I'd say no to that. I'm not putting a fucking caveat at the end of my fucking plaque.
These are just my thoughts. But I think that he should.
Thank God.
I think that if Pete had copped to it at first, he'd be in the Hall of Fame now. His story has changed every year.
Yeah, he was lying about it. He was afraid to get.
But even now, in the interview with Manfred, there's differences in the story. So just Pete, just tell the truth, and this stops him from being in the Hall of Fame now. He can go to ceremonial stuff, but he cannot get into the Hall of Fame as of today. And I think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
That's all I'm saying. Put him in a hall. He should never go near another game in a coaching or official status on any level. Should he be near another Major League Baseball game? But put him in the Hall of Fame. And I'm not for this. Just put a plaque up that says he's one of the greatest hitters ever. Amount of hits, give the stats. Pete Rose with the Reds hat on, I assume, and that's it. Bye. I would accept that deal if I were Rose. Something at the end going, well, fuck you. How about putting something at the end of Ty Cobbs that said he wouldn't fucking sleep with Babe Ruth during an All-Star game because he thought Babe Ruth had part black in him, and he said he'd never bed down with a nigger. That's what. Okay, put that at the end of Ty Cobbs' plaque, and you can put the Rose gambled. What the fuck? My lawyer's not allowing that.
And you have a good lawyer, so I.
Again, we really have to question Dan's input in the show based on the 3 times I went to him here. Oof.
So, Major League Pete Rose, banned from baseball at the bottom. That's what I say.
No way. Okay, I completely disagree. No ban from baseball at the bottom. Nothing. Just the stats. This is what happened. Believe me, people hear about it. You don't need to fucking read it. No fucking way. No deal. So we disagree there. And basically, that's it. We've accomplished nothing again. All right, check out you two in Paris. It's a great, for no other reason. It's just fucking great, really impressive, and that's my recommendation. And check out Libby Copeland's article in WashingtonPost.com about Howard and my really brilliant insight into the whole thing. And of course, go to ArtieQuitter.com for all Artie Quitter news. December 26th, again, I'm at the Fox Theater in Foxwoods in Connecticut. The Great Wilbur Theater in Boston, December 27th. I've played Wilbur a bunch of times. Boston crowds, I love them. So I'm doing a New England tour there, the 26th and 27th. And of course, midnight, I go on stage at the Comedy Cellar in Greenwich Village, New York, as your first comedian of 2016. Midnight, baby. And I've done stand-up at the Cellar before at midnight. It is electric. It's U2 in Paris type electricity.
And Wednesday, the 23rd, you will be on a repeat of your show with Conan O'Brien.
I guess they're showing a repeat of my last Conan O'Brien on December 23rd.
December 23rd.
Me and Aaron Sorkin. Check that out. And, of course, a couple of things. The new January 8th, a Showtime special. I did a lot of shit this year. I hosted a Showtime special for the Nasty Show at the Montreal Comedy Festival this past summer. And it came out killer. It looks great. Me, Gilbert, funny English guy named Jimmy Carr, Gina Yashir, real funny English woman. Bunch of people. It comes out January 8th on Showtime. The Nasty Show on Showtime, a special hosted by myself. I'm headlining the motherfucker. Some new stuff, some old stuff, some fun with friends up in Montreal. And tomorrow night at the Village Underground, the sister club to the Comedy Cellar, I'm doing Ari Shaffir's show, This Is Not Happening, where comedians tell stories, with Bobby Kelly and Jim Norton. On stage live at the Village Underground. I don't know if there's tickets left for that, but check them out. And we're doing that because I did Ari's show in this past fall, the TV version of this exact show, telling stories. I tell the pig story, guys. The pig cocaine story. It's the best I ever tell the story. On stage at a strip club in Hollywood in front of a great crowd. Ari Shaffir's This Is Not Happening, debuting soon on Comedy Central. So the Showtime special, January 8th, the set with Ari. Conan this December 23rd, a repeat, and all those live shows I just talked about. A bunch of good stuff coming up in the new year. I got an offer to do the Borgata. We're working on a date. Probably in February, I'm back at the Borgata. Things are starting to loosen up, as Tom Hagen says to Vito Corleone. It was Michael that killed Salazzo. But he's okay. Making some moves to bring him back again. See, things are starting to loosen up. Vito Corleone gives him the brush. He gives him the high hat. Fuck off. Fuck off, Tom. You're not a wartime consigliere. God damn it, if I had fucking a good consigliere, wartime consigliere, I wouldn't be in this shit. Papachenko, look what I got. Look, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that. Like it's Sunday, Mom made a little supper. Also known as the Godfather. Look, the FBI guys, they made me this deal. They said Michael Corleone did this. Actually, Frankie Pantangeli sounds like Endorium. The FBI guys. The FBI guys, they made me a deal. They made me a deal, and I'll tell you what, they were being deceptive. I'll tell you, they were being deceptive. And I told them, I said, Michael Corleone did this. And I don't know, he's crazy, that Michael Corleone. And Michael Corleone did that. And I was like, yeah, sure. What the? I don't know. I live in a barracks with the FBI guys. I got my own family center. I was in the olive oil business with his father. But that was years ago. We're going to Ed Torian as Frankie Pantangeli in Godfather 2. That's the remake. And he could have had his own family. But only the rich guys, Tom. Bye, Tom. Bye, Tom. Tom, so what you're saying, Tom, is should I slip my wrist in the tub? What you're saying is I should kill myself, right, Tom? Are you being deceptive? Could you say that out loud, please? I want to check it with my fingers. Tom, can I ask you something? Have you ever slept with a colored guy? Colored girl? No? All right. Yeah, listen, Fredo is not telling the truth. I talked to Fredo, Mike, and he's being deceptive. Fredo talked to Johnny Ola. Yeah. He's being deceptive. Mike, Fredo talked to... Here's what happened. Hyman Roth, the Jew from Miami. I mean, the Jewish, the African-American, the Jewish guy from Miami. Yeah, he's a Sicilian messenger boy, Johnny Ola. Yeah, Fredo would talk to him. Now, I don't think Fredo knew they were going to shoot you or anything, but I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. He's all over the place. He's crazy. I tell you, Fredo's crazy. He's banging up cocktail waitresses 2 at a time, Fredo. And I tell you, you don't come to Vegas and talk to Mo Green like that. Mike. I mean, that's what Fredo says. I think he's being deceptive. Let's kill him now, Mike. Let's kill him now while we got the muscle. I'm a little insulted by this C-note, Rosado. Forgive me. I'm a little drunk. Your father did business with Hyman Roth. Your father respected Hyman Roth. But your father never trusted Hyman Roth. Or a Sicilian messenger boy, Johnny Ola. I don't mind you con Jew in Miami. Cheech, abort.
What are you drinking there, Ed?
What are you drinking, Ed? What do you got? What are you drinking? Champagne cocktail. You're up here sitting high in the Sierra Mountains drinking. What are they drinking? Champagne cocktails. And, they hire niggas. They hire spicks. And everything with them is bum. They shit right up the arm. And they leave the gambling and prostitution for last. Cheech, abort. Forgive me, I'm a little drunk, but you'll get no trouble from Frankie Pantangeli. Cheech, abort. No, there was no heart attack. There was no heart attack. This is Ed Torian. I've been cast as Frankie Pantangeli. Ed Torian is cast as Frankie Pantangeli in the remake to Godfather 2. Come on, how about a little Tarantella? Yeah, you guys are crazy. I think Fredo's sleeping with black broads. It was him, Mike. Let's kill him now while we got the muscle. I don't know. You guys are crazy. I live with the FBI guys. Yeah, my life ain't gonna be worth a plug nickel after tomorrow. Oh yeah, sure. Is my brother back okay, Tom? Is he back okay? This committee owes an apology, Senator. I never knew no Godfather. What? What, Mr. Torian? Mr. Torian, we have your affidavit. We have it. No, I had my own family, Senator. Oh, I know. I could probably do this for 4 straight days. You'd have to give me oxygen. Hey, Mr. Torian, you wanna smell me pussy? I don't think so. I tell you, these whores from the 1888 London, the Whitechapel district, them whores, what do they got? Smelly twats out there. Yeah, I like to cut out their pussy. Yeah, so anyway. This is Frankie Pantangeli. I mean, Ed Torian. I mean, Vito Corleone. Yeah. I'm being deceptive. Frankie Pantangeli leaves the mafia business and opens up a lie detector business. I'm going to put, you know what, Mike? I got an idea. I want out. I want out of the life. If you could just let me out of the life, Mike. I know I took an oath. I bought a lie detector machine. And I'm going to open a business. Do you want to be my first guy? I know the mafia doesn't like lie detector machines. I know it's a stretch. A stretch for a mafia guy to give lie detector. Okay. I'll probably do more of this throughout the week. But that's it. That's it. And remember, hello, vote for Senator Rubio. Oh, he was in Menudo. His parents fled Fidel Castro. Oh, my name is Bondo. And I vote for Marco Rubio. I don't know what the edge likes, you know. But he wouldn't sign off on this. Oh. My name's Artie Lang. For Dan Filato and the rest of the gang, I say tune in for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, as we sum up and finish up a great 2015 of close to 200 podcasts. That's right. It's all worthwhile. Who's on tomorrow, Dan? Little tease? Anybody? We don't know yet, right?
Chris DiStefano will be on tomorrow.
Chris DiStefano, if he doesn't cancel for the 50th time. Quite frankly, it's easier to get Frank Sinatra's ghost on the show.
Ryan Reese will be here tomorrow.
Ryan Reese, Chris DiStefano, some of the younger comics will give their thoughts, their amusing thoughts on the world today. As will I. Frankie Pantangeli. Listen for more of this as we go on.